Here we're going to demonstrate a series of stretches that we call the Zen 10 because they're well designed to open up the hips and prepare the body for Zazen. So we're going to start with some hip warm-ups. Andy's going to lie on the mat and do slow rotations of the pelvis called pelvic roll with knees up and very intentionally putting his awareness into the lower abdomen and slowly tilting the sits bones up and down, then arching the back. So he's creating some movement in the hip girdle, rolling up slightly from the base and then back down, arching from the lower back. He'll then move to the side and into a position for being able to rotate the hips, bringing all four limbs on the ground. We'll go through these fairly briefly in this video, but we encourage you to take your time with these, maybe at the beginning of a sitting period. And some of these poses you'll see you might want to do for a few minutes each. The hip rotations will go in both directions, feeling for any stuck spots or tight points, getting a clear rotation through the hip. And then, using a more vertical movement, bringing energy up and down the spine, a cat and cow movement, sucking the belly button toward the spine and rounding the back, and then arching the back as the head comes up. So the spine is moving vertically up and down, convex, concave. A few of these. And then you can move into sort of a vertical wave emanating from the base of the spine all the way through the top of the head. And feeling every vertebrae get into the act, smooth movement. You can also make this a more horizontal movement from all fours, looking first over the left shoulder toward the and the left hip, and leaning out the left hip to the same side, and then the opposite side. And first side, and leaning the hip out the same way, and then the other side. And then a shaking motion, a shaky snake, we might say, to just shake out tension in the body, a horizontal wave. And a final warm-up that we'll put to this series is to warm up the feet. And to do this, you want to sit back and cross one leg over the other and press out the bottom of the foot, feeling for hot spots or tight areas. And then open up the wedge of the foot by shimmying it back and forth and side to side. And you can put the fingers through toes and spread them out and tap out the bottom of the foot. You want to do both sides. Now we've gone through a number of warm-up exercises here, but we just put this into the general first count of warming up the body, warming up the hips and the feet, the legs, the spine. Number one is the warm-up. Then standing up. Number two is a forward fold with feet parallel to the ground and moving one vertebrae down at a time, just hanging the upper body, letting it drop in gravity, and just relax, letting the lower back stretch out. You can put a small bend in the knees, or straighten them, and feel how that changes the stretch. Let the neck hang as well. And just exhale, breathing deeply into the hara, into that point of the V between the upper body and the lower body. Letting out sighs of relief. This is the forward fold. Next, we'll move into stretching the inner leg with a move we call dragonfly. So sitting on the floor or on some cushions or blocks to get enough height that you can roll to the front of the sits bones, those bones you sit on, so that the spine can come straight rather than curved. Legs are apart, and then just leaning forward in gravity. And again, letting gravity do the work, extending out through the balls of the feet, exhaling, breathing deeply into the center, stretching the inner thigh. This is number 3, dragonfly. From here, we can bring the soles of the feet together into what you might call butterfly, bringing it in and holding the feet and letting the knees fall to the side, keeping the spine straight, the heart open. You can again move the upper body forward as far as you can in gravity, but letting gravity do the work, moving more the belly button toward the floor, not the shoulders. And just let this stretch settle in. And again, you can hold each of these for a minute or more. We're moving through them briefly so you can get a feel for them. But in practice, you'll want to spend enough time in each one where the body has a chance to release and relax. And that's usually at least a minute or two. So moving into number 5, we do a low lunge. A lunge where we're really opening up the muscle that connects the legs into the spine. To do this, you want to position one leg back in front of you, one leg behind. You can put your knee on a cushion or on a mat. And the front leg should be no more than 90 degrees. And here, just let the body hang, feeling almost like a hammock between the back leg and the spine. You can bring the arms to the side. You can also increase the lift of this by bringing the arms up and feeling a line of energy through the top of the head all the way through the ball of the back foot. A smooth extension all the way through. You'll want to hold this for a bit and then go to the other side, changing which leg is front, which leg is back. You want to make sure that your leg is straight out behind you and the front knee no more than 90 degrees. Just settle into this, deep breaths, deep sighs of relief into your hara. And then extending the arms overhead for added lift. And a sense again of a clear line of energy through the top of the head and out the back foot. When you're ready, you'll want to back this stretch out and stand up slowly. And then we're going to work the side body, the side. So to get a good feel for this, feet are parallel, about hip width, and bring the arms overhead, grasping the left wrist with the right hand, and then pulling over to the right side. So you're using the weight of one hand to just give a little added weight to the arm, opening up the rib cage, sighs of relief, the feeling almost like an accordion folding over to one side. And then breathe that down. Just take an exhale down. Good. And bring your hands up and do the other side. Grabbing now your right hand, going over to the left side, opening up the opposite side rib cage. Breathing deeply, exhaling freely, sigh of relief. So that's number 6, the side bend. In number 7, we do a squat with a wider stance And here's another one you might want to hang out in for a while, because it opens up the hips, but in a wider stance, just placing the arms on the inner legs, the inner thighs, and dropping the tailbone down, and just settling in. Deep sighs of relief, deep breathing. This is number 7, the squat. Moving into number 8 is downward dog. So to do this, you can do it on the floor or using a windowsill or a shelf to support you. To do it on the floor, you'll place your hands, your feet, and come up, extending the sits bones, the tailbone back as far as you can, letting the shoulders drop through or the upper back flatten. You can work one leg at a time by alternating, bending the knee and extending through the heel. You can bring more pressure into your fingertips and feel how that flattens the upper back. This is number 8, downward dog. Lengthening, especially the lower back and the upper legs. And then number 9, we go into what's called pigeon, bringing one leg forward and one leg back. You can position the foot close to the pelvis, or you can bring it up further as the stretch moves further up the gluteus muscles. You want one leg straight out behind you, one leg bent. Breathing deeply. Sighs of relief. You can bring your head down in the mat, or you can also raise it up. And as you come out of this stretch, it's good to roll toward the bent leg side. Bent leg side to change your legs. And move into the other side. This is number 9, pigeon. Can be upright, can be down. You'll notice how the stretch changes. Always extending through the ball of the back foot, lengthening, releasing, relaxing. And finally, number 10, we'll do a spinal twist from a lying down position. In this lying down position, the knees are bent and the arms are out at 90 degrees. And then bringing both knees over to one side. You can weight them with the same side hand. And stretch out through the opposite arm. You can look the opposite arm way. And just feel the opening through the spine, as if you could just separate the muscle from the bone. And then when you're ready, bring the legs to the opposite side, both knees together. You can weight them with the opposite hand and stretch out. Looking to your outstretched arm. As much as possible, try to keep your knees together. Open the spine. Number 10, the spinal twist. A lying down position. So that we call the Zen 10.